Deep in the heart of Blackthorn Hollow lies a place where knowledge comes at a price no one can afford. The Library of Ash, an archive older than the town itself, whispered to hold secrets no mortal was meant to uncover. They say once you step through its doors, you don't come back. Not alive. Not whole. For over a century, dozens have vanished within its walls, their fates swallowed by silence. Some claim the books themselves are alive, watching, waiting. Others say the library is a gateway to something far darker. Tonight, we embark on a chilling journey to uncover the truth behind the disappearances, the deaths, and the horrors that haunt this cursed archive. This is the story of the Library of Ash, and why no one leaves it alive. Welcome to Unraveled Mysteries. I'm your host, and tonight, we're diving into one of the most unsettling mysteries in supernatural history. The Library of Ash isn't just a building. It's a legend, a place where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Nestled in the isolated town of Blackthorn Hollow, upstate New York, this archive has stood for over 150 years, its walls steeped in tragedy. Scholars, adventurers, even curious locals have entered its halls seeking answers, only to vanish without a trace. The few who return speak of whispers in the dark, shadows that move without light, and books that seem to read you back. Tonight, we'll explore the library's dark history, examine the cases of those who disappeared, and investigate the supernatural forces that may hold the key to its deadly reputation. We've uncovered eyewitness accounts, historical records, and evidence from failed investigations. But be warned, this journey will take us to the edge of the unknown, where the truth is as dangerous as the darkness. So, settle in, dim the lights, and let's step into the shadows of the Library of Ash. To understand the Library of Ash, we must go back to its origins in 1867, when Blackthorn Hollow was a quiet logging town, far from the bustle of city life. The library was the brainchild of Elias Ashwood, a reclusive scholar who arrived in the town under a cloud of mystery. Ashwood was no ordinary academic. Rumors swirled that he was an occultist, a man obsessed with forbidden knowledge, driven by a desire to unlock secrets beyond human understanding. He claimed the library would be a beacon of enlightenment, a repository for rare manuscripts, ancient artifacts, and texts from every corner of the globe. But the locals saw something else in his fevered eyes, a hunger for power, a fixation on the unknown. Ashwood purchased a sprawling plot of land on the edge of town, a place the locals avoided, claiming it was cursed by the spirits of the land. The library's construction began in the spring of 1867, but it was plagued by misfortune from the start. Workers reported strange occurrences, tools vanishing, footsteps echoing in empty corridors, and whispers in languages they couldn't understand. At least 3 laborers disappeared during the project, their bodies never found. One worker, a man named Jeremiah Cole, left behind a journal describing a chilling encounter. He wrote, "The stones of this place feel alive, like they're watching us. Last night, I saw a shadow in the half-built reading room, holding a book that glowed like fire. I ran and never looked back." By the time the library opened in 1869, it was already tainted by death. Its Gothic architecture, pointed arches, towering spires, and stained glass windows depicting cryptic symbols, seemed designed to unsettle. The main reading room, a cavernous chamber with a domed ceiling, was adorned with murals of shadowy figures clutching books that seemed to pulse with light. The archive's collection was unlike any other. Thousands of volumes, many in unknown scripts, organized by a system no one could decipher. Some said the books rearranged themselves at night, their pages whispering secrets to those who dared to listen. Elias Ashwood himself vanished just 1 year after the library opened, leaving behind a single note, "The truth lies within, but none shall claim it." What did he mean? Was he a victim of his own creation, or did he unleash something he couldn't control? The answer, like so much about the Library of Ash, remains buried in its shadows. Before we dive into the first disappearances, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to join us on this chilling journey. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The Library of Ash earned its grim reputation almost immediately. The first documented case was in 1902, when Thomas Hargrove, a local historian, entered the library to research its collection of medieval texts. Hargrove was a meticulous man, known for his obsession with uncovering hidden truths. He believed the library held manuscripts that could rewrite history. On a cold October evening, he was seen entering the library at dusk, carrying a leather-bound notebook and a lantern. He never emerged. Search parties combed the building for days, but found no trace of him, not a footprint, not a scrap of clothing. The only clue was his notebook, left open on a reading table in the main hall. Its pages were filled with frantic scribbles, the words are moving. They're watching me. They know my name. The final entry was a single word, scrawled in trembling handwriting, run. Hargrove's disappearance sent shockwaves through Blackthorn Hollow. The town council briefly closed the library, but it reopened under pressure from scholars who insisted its collection was too valuable to abandon. In 1915, another tragedy struck. Margaret Voss, a young librarian hired to catalog the archive's texts, was found dead in the basement stacks. Her body was curled into a fetal position, her hands clutching her face. The coroner's report listed no cause of death, but her eyes were wide open, frozen in a look of pure terror. In the days before her death, Voss had confided in a colleague, saying, "The shadows in the library move without light. They follow me, and I can't escape them." Her colleague dismissed it as exhaustion, but after her death, no one could explain the strange marks on her arms, marks that looked like burns, though no fire was found. These early cases set a pattern that would repeat for decades. Between 1902 and 1980, at least 27 people vanished or died in the library. Scholars seeking rare texts, adventurers chasing rumors of cursed artifacts, even teenagers daring each other to spend the night, all met the same fate. They entered alone, often at night, and were never seen again. Search efforts were futile, as if the library itself swallowed them whole. In 1934, a group of college students broke into the library on a dare. Only one, Emily Carter, returned, stumbling out at dawn, her hair streaked with white. She spoke of a hallway that seemed to stretch forever, lined with mirrors that showed faces that weren't her own. Emily was institutionalized shortly after, unable to recount her story without screaming. In 1957, a journalist named Harold Klein disappeared while investigating the library for a feature story. His camera was found in the reading room, its film exposed to reveal a single image, a shadowy figure standing among the shelves, its face obscured but its eyes glowing faintly. These cases, and countless others, cemented the library's reputation as a place of no return. Here's Sarah Hargrove, Thomas's great-granddaughter. "My family never got closure. My great-grandfather was obsessed with the library's collection. He believed it held secrets about life and death, about what lies beyond. After he vanished, my grandmother swore she saw him in her dreams, standing in a room filled with glowing books, his face pale and his eyes empty. He kept saying, 'Don't come here. Don't let them find you.' I grew up hearing those stories, and I've never set foot in Blackthorn Hollow. The library took him, and I think it's still holding him, somehow." Sarah's account is one of many. Families of the missing report recurring nightmares, visions of their loved ones trapped in the library, surrounded by books that pulse with unnatural light. Some claim to hear whispers in their sleep, words in languages they don't understand, urging them to visit the archive. Others describe a sense of dread that lingers long after hearing the library's name, as if it's watching them from afar. We're just scratching the surface of this mystery. Stick with us as we explore the supernatural phenomena that make the Library of Ash more than just a haunted building. Don't forget to like and share this video to help us unravel the truth. The Library of Ash isn't just a place of disappearances, it's a vortex of supernatural activity. Witnesses who've entered and survived describe experiences that defy explanation. They speak of whispers in unknown languages, echoing through empty corridors. Cold spots appear in rooms with no ventilation, chilling visitors to the bone. Shadows move across walls, independent of any light source, sometimes taking the shape of human figures or stranger, formless things. Electronic devices fail inside the library. Cameras malfunction, audio recordings distort into unintelligible murmurs, and compasses spin as if caught in a magnetic storm. In 1972, a local priest named Father Daniel Morrow attempted to bless the library, hoping to cleanse it of its dark reputation. He lasted less than an hour before fleeing, claiming he felt an oppressive presence, like a weight pressing on his soul. He later wrote, "The air in that place is thick with malice. It's not empty, it's alive, and it hates us." In 1983, a team of paranormal investigators, led by Dr. Helen Carter, entered the library with state-of-the-art equipment, EMF meters, thermal cameras, and motion detectors. Their goal was to map the building and document any anomalies. Within hours, their devices began to fail. Batteries drained in minutes, screens flickered with static, and audio recordings captured only a low, guttural hum. One investigator, Mark Reynolds, described a chilling encounter. He said, "I was in the West Wing, scanning the shelves, when a book opened on its own. Its pages flipped so fast I thought they'd tear, then a gust of wind slammed it shut. I felt something brush past me, cold and heavy, like a hand on my shoulder." The team abandoned their investigation after less than a day, and Reynolds was hospitalized for what doctors called acute psychological distress. He refused to speak of the library again, but his wife later shared that he woke screaming every night, muttering about eyes in the pages. Local folklore paints an even darker picture. Residents of Blackthorn Hollow believe the library is a gateway to another realm, a place where the veil between the living and the dead is dangerously thin. Elders tell stories of the land's history, claiming it was a sacred site for the Iroquois people, a place where spirits were said to gather. When Ashwood built his library, he disturbed that sacred ground, angering forces older than the town itself. Some say the books in the archive are more than just books, they're vessels, inscribed with rituals that summon entities no one can control. Others believe the library's organization system, with its cryptic symbols and shifting shelves, is a kind of trap, designed to lure victims into its depths. Here's Jacob Wells, a former town librarian who worked at the library in 1976. "I was only there for one summer, and it was the worst mistake of my life. The first week, I thought I was imagining things, footsteps when no one was around, whispers coming from the stacks. But one night, I saw something I'll never forget. I was shelving books in the East Wing when I noticed a glow, faint but unmistakable, coming from a book on the top shelf. It was like it was lit from within, pulsing like a heartbeat. I reached for it, and my hand felt like it was burning, but there was no heat, no flame. I dropped it and ran. The next day, I quit. That place isn't just haunted, it's wrong, like it's alive and it knows you're there." Jacob's story is one of dozens. Visitors report physical symptoms, headaches that feel like needles in the skull, nausea that comes in waves, a sense of being watched from every corner. Some describe hallucinations. Shadowy figures standing just out of sight, words appearing on blank pages, or their own reflections in mirrors twisting into something unrecognizable. One woman, a tourist who visited in 1995, claimed she saw her name written in a book, over and over, in handwriting that wasn't her own. She fled the library and never returned to Blackthorn Hollow. What are these phenomena? Are they tricks of the mind, induced by the library's oppressive atmosphere? Or is something far worse at work, something that feeds on those who enter? We're about to dive into the theories behind the library's horrors. But first, let us know in the comments, what do you think is happening in the Library of Ash? Stay tuned for more. What lies at the heart of the Library of Ash? Over the years, investigators, scholars, and locals have proposed countless theories to explain its terrors. One theory points to the land itself. Some believe the library was built on a Native American burial ground, its spirits enraged by Elias Ashwood's intrusion. The Iroquois people who once lived in the region spoke of a sacred site where the dead could commune with the living, a place of balance that Ashwood disrupted with his ambition. Disturbing the land, they say, unleashed forces that now guard the library, claiming anyone who trespasses. Another theory focuses on the archive's collection. Scholars who've studied the library's catalog, before disappearing, describe texts unlike any in the world, grimoires bound in strange leather, manuscripts written in scripts that defy translation, books that seem to hum with energy. Some believe these are forbidden texts, spellbooks that channel dark forces, perhaps collected by Ashwood during his travels to ancient sites in Europe, Africa, and Asia. One researcher, Dr. Evelyn Morse, claimed in a 1968 paper that the library housed a copy of the Liber Tenebris, a mythical book said to contain rituals for summoning entities from beyond. Morse vanished shortly after publishing her findings, her last known location, the Library of Ash. A third theory suggests Elias Ashwood was part of a secret society, a cabal of occultists who used the library as a testing ground for experiments in the supernatural. Letters found in Ashwood's abandoned home hint at his involvement with a group called the Order of the Veiled Flame, a society rumored to seek immortality through forbidden knowledge. Did Ashwood's experiments open a door that couldn't be closed? In 2019, an amateur investigator named Rachel Monroe came closer to the truth than anyone before her. Ignoring warnings from locals, Rachel spent 3 days in the library, documenting her exploration with a GoPro. She described the building as a maze, its hallways shifting and its shelves rearranging when she wasn't looking. On her third night, she found a hidden door behind a bookshelf in the basement, concealed by a panel carved with occult symbols. Beyond it was a chamber unlike any other in the library, a circular room with walls inscribed with runes that seemed to pulse with faint light. In the center stood a pedestal, holding a single book with a blackened cover, as if scorched by fire. Rachel's footage captured her opening the book, her voice trembling as she whispered, "It's blank, no, wait, there's something here." The camera cut out moments later, and Rachel was never seen again. Her GoPro was found a week later, half buried in the library's courtyard. The final frames showed the book's pages, blank except for a single sentence written in blood-red ink, "The library claims what it is owed." Was this the key to the library's curse? Did Rachel uncover the source of its power, only to become its latest victim? The footage raised more questions than answers, but it confirmed one thing: the Library of Ash is no ordinary place. It's a predator, and it's always hungry. We're nearing the end of our investigation, but the mystery is far from solved. Stay with us for the conclusion, and a final twist that will leave you questioning everything. The Library of Ash remains an enigma, a place where answers come at a cost too steep to pay. Despite decades of investigations, no one has uncovered the full truth behind its disappearances or its supernatural phenomena. The library still stands in Blackthorn Hollow, its doors locked but never truly sealed. The town council banned entry in 2005, citing safety concerns, but the library's pull is relentless. Every year, a few brave, or foolish, souls break in, driven by curiosity or obsession. None have returned. Locals avoid the building, crossing the street to stay out of its shadow. They tell stories of lights flickering in its windows at night, of screams echoing from within, of books that appear in their homes, unopened but marked with their names. Is the Library of Ash a portal to another realm, a trap set by Elias Ashwood's occult experiments, or something older, something that predates the town itself? Perhaps the truth lies in the books, waiting for someone brave enough, or reckless enough, to read them. Or perhaps the library is alive, a sentient entity that feeds on those who seek its secrets. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain: the Library of Ash is not done claiming its due. Thank you for joining us on this chilling journey. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Library of Ash, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Let us know in the comments, would you dare to enter the Library of Ash? Until next time, stay curious. And stay safe.